might I add, a hardworking millennial, working as much overtime as I can to get a savings account that is actually decent. I was just thinking about growing up in the 90s and how much easier life was back then. And it really was a lot easier back then. I remember there would be times with like I was born in like 87, and we still had the rule whenever I was growing up that we had to be home by the time the streetlights were on. That was the rule. We could go anywhere we wanted around the neighborhood as long as we stayed in a certain area and then came home when the streetlights came on. I remember when we got our first VCR for Christmas. That was a freaking luxury when we got that. I remember my mom taking me to see Lion King in movie theaters more than 10 times because it was my favorite movie. I remember having my Tamagotchi and Gigapets in school, and then all of a sudden they were banned, and I would hide them and put them on silent mode and play with them when the teacher wasn't looking. I remember doing a lot of interesting things. Like, I remember Rugrats whenever it first came out with the All Grown Up. It first came out on just a Rugrats episode, and it was an hour-long episode, and it was something I was looking forward to. I was really excited about it, and it was really good. And then they actually turned it into a real show after that, which was interesting. I remember we didn't get cable until I was like 12. We didn't get cable or internet till I was like 12. And so I would go to the library to get on the internet. And I remember having to be taught how to type in the web address as a kid from the librarian because I didn't have a computer at home, and internet was a luxury that we didn't have. And then we finally got it when I was 12, and I was a big Pokemon nerd. Not only did I play Pokemon with my friends and play Pokemon Stadium with the original yellow, blue, and red, and gold, silver, and crystal with my friends, but I also had the original Game Link cable for the Game Boys so that I could trade with my friends. There was a lot of interesting things that happened in the 90s, and life was so simple back then and so much fun, and I don't know what has changed, but something has changed since the 90s, and things are just not the same. And a lot of people are trying to blame it on like social media and stuff like that, and maybe that's true, I don't know, but I don't know. It just feels different. The world feels different now. It doesn't feel like this big world that is ready to be explored. It feels like a confined space. You know what I mean? Anyway, that's just my 2 cents. Much love.